Hey, folks. Welcome to the Blue Milk Gaming Podcast, Episode 1. My name is Alex Krez. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I really like Hantu Blue. Going over to Micah.
I'm Micah. I'm also from Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, and my favorite card is the Gorilla Soldiers. And Nick?
Yeah, I'm Nick from Madison, Wisconsin. I've been playing these Star Wars card games for a while now, and you can't stop me from playing Palpatine. That's what's actually true.
And last but not least,
And I'm Carlos, also from Madison, Wisconsin. I started playing card games with Star Wars Destiny, and I just love cunning.
yes, that is the team here. Welcome, everyone. For tonight, we've got a couple topics to go over. We just introduced ourselves a little bit. We're going to kind of talk about Secrets of Power, the set 6 of Star Wars Unlimited, coming out in, I think, is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Real soon.
Weeks.
I think there's still a sector for set 5 in Munich, but we're talking set 6. We got pre-release prep. We're going to talk about the top leaders that we like for limited, along with some best of the commons and uncommons that you should be looking for when you're cracking those packs that are pre-release. So let's dive right in with our set 6 overall thoughts. Micah, why don't you kick us off? What do you think?
Yeah, looking at the card pool overall when comparing it to last set 5, I've really liked the turn 1 plays. They seem a lot more solid for limited this set. Last set felt like there was a lot of 2-2s, easy trades if you drew those and your opponent drew those 2-4s to start the game. So overall, a lot more solid 2 drops, it feels like. And there's also a lot of good 1 drops in this set as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. What do you think, Carlos?
Well, I also think the leaders are a little better overall. Last set we saw 1 to 2 leaders were good and limited, and now we have, I'd say, at least one option in each color. It's what it feels like.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get into the leaders in a little bit. But first, Nick, what are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think that it's still in a weird space power level wise, but I think the leaders are interesting, and I think that's something that is cool. And I like the spy tokens, whether or not that proves to be great. Um, yeah, I'm excited for it. Plots feel like smuggle light.
Yeah, I will say plot has me like cautiously optimistic because I think it's a
Mhm.
cool mechanic. I do love smuggle, but I also am concerned about the speed of the format. I think I'm not the first person to express this concern. I don't know, Carlos, do you think it's actually a real concern, or do you think it's just kind of just something that we're worrying about for nothing?
Well, I hate Power of the Dark Side, so never having to worry about that feels a little bit better, but
I think
there
Nick
is the
has
issue.
other
Okay.
thoughts.
I mean, we're also so close to rotation too, so it's like this weird bubble of this set might not make its waves until the first 3 rotate out, and we really get to see what we're left with. And that honestly, starting to think ahead is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these leaders were like, seems pretty good, but not better than blank. Like Cassian seems pretty good, probably not better than Sabine. But Micah, I don't know. Do you think any leaders here have a chance to actually make a big splash in the constructed scene?
Constructed will be interesting. I'm not seeing a ton right off the bat. I think Deidre has some potential. Padme maybe as well. I think cards have a lot of potential, but I think they don't see true competitive play until after rotation.
Yes, I unfortunately agree, but we'll see. We'll move on. Let's go ahead and talk about pre-release, which is in, I think the first pre-release to start in what, this
Less than a
week?
week. Yeah.
Yeah, less than a week, which is crazy. I know I'll admit I haven't even sorted my set 5 cards yet. They're on the table on the back over there. But let's talk about some pre-release prep. Um, Starting with the leaders we were just talking
Got all
about.
9.
Nice. Carlos, what about you? Who's your number one pick that you want to see when you're cracking packs for your pre-release?
Well, I always like that when the leaders they give you from the starter sets are actually playable.
Mm,
Padme seems probably the best one of the two.
hmm
6 flip is not that much different from a 5 flip. She hits for a little less, but being a 6 cost leader, 3/8. But the ability is where it really starts getting interesting. When you reveal or discard one or more cards from your hand, You may exhaust this leader. If you do, deal 1 damage to unit. We saw early on that Cad Bane was good and limited, Quinlan was good and limited, so the hope is just there's enough disclose and discard to make her work.
That makes a lot of sense. Anyone who knows Carlos knows he was still at heart is a big Quinlan player, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Nick, how about you? What are you eyeing for new leaders?
I've been thinking maybe like Yularen could be interesting. Like action compression's been something that hasn't really there's not been a ton of it, but like when it comes into play, like the original Leia was pretty decent and set 1 for limited. But not only do we have like just being able to attack fast if you want to be aggressive against the base, you are also in like a meta where everybody's probably generating spy tokens, and if you get the ability to
Mhm.
kill 2 spy tokens for free, now you're that much further ahead on the board. Like where that action cheating actually might have a notable effect in limited.
Yeah, and those who anyone's not familiar with the Colonel Yularen, he lets you attack with a unit and attack with another unit that's costed less, I believe. So
And in stat wise, he's a 4/6 on 5, so he's basically like set 1 boba, but a little bit worse.
yeah, I think that's real solid. Micah, how about you? Who's your pick?
Um, yeah, I think Leia Organa is an interesting pick. It kind of replaces what we saw with Snoke the last set, and he was one of those top leaders for limited, like we talked about earlier. The only downside is it does have that restriction of you have to disclose a card, you have to pay 1 to disclose a card, and if you do, you can give an experience to a unit that doesn't share an aspect with the disclosed card. So
Hmm.
this is interesting. It also includes heroism cards. So if you're showing a hero card during the disclose, you can't give an XP to a card with the heroism aspect on your board. So that is a
Oh.
big downside. But this also means that sprinkling in an off aspect card here or there isn't actually the worst thing, and you can still get some use
Mm.
for it if you're not playing it.
Honestly, I think that'll be easier to use than Snoke because you actually have to draft dark side cards for Snoke, and this you don't care. I think you're just going to have a hit in your hand in most instances.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Mono aspect cards of different colors. They're probably pretty good and limited in formats with this card.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I think we've seen that given experience for 1 is decent value, and as long as the conditions aren't too difficult. So I like that pick. Myself, though, I'm going with Dedra Miro. I think her ability, which costs 1 resource, and lets you then make your opponent choose whether they would deal 2 damage to their units or you get to draw a card. Which in my limited practice with her, usually or both are pretty good. So it can fill out your curve with that ability, and then when she flips on 4 resources, she's a 2/5 that can get raid 2 if you have more cards in hand than your opponent. So great stats for the deploy. I think it can put some early pressure on, swing for what up to 8 damage before your opponent's leader gets down in a lot of cases. So yeah, I think she's gonna be pretty tough to beat if she's built with a proper deck. As a common leader too, which I was kind of surprised by. Um, but yeah, I think like we were saying earlier, there's a lot of promising leaders to set that I think will feel. There's definitely no Anakin Skywalker in my opinion, right? But Carlos, how about you? What do you think about the? You're talking about the one Padme, the Padme you get as part of the pre-release. What do you think about the other leader, the Chancellor Palpatine? Do you think he has potential?
I mean, he's got some really good stats, and the discount is nothing to like scoff at. Like resource cheating is always good.
Hmm.
It'll just be how good are the plots you're getting, and how much can you really buy that time. No Sentinel, no Restore, so he just has to come out and start swinging if you want to stabilize, which is the tough part.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Nick, what do you think? You're our control player. Does like control Palpatine have a chance in pre-release, or is this gonna be a tough sell?
I mean, the real question is, can you ever really play control in limited? Like,
Yeah.
seven deploy leaders are usually pretty rough to like. It just you got to have something to stabilize the board, and just yeah, I don't know. I feel like Padme's a lot more playable.
I would agree. I think this set overall, like there's a lot of great like, disclosed cards. The plot ones, I think, are a little hit or miss, but I think that's a good segue then to talk more about from the leaders. Now we can go into some of maybe the commons and uncommons of the set. And let's talk about vigilance first. Micah, why don't you kick us off? What's a card or two you're eyeing in the vigilance aspect?
Yeah, in limited formats, I think one of the uncommon cards we can look at is Lobot, a 0/4 sentinel, but he does have grit, a 2 cost mono vigilance card. So he's interesting. Sentinels are always good in limited, being having 4 health, and then grit stacks kind of nicely with each other. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah, I think he's a great card because you can play him with your turn one play, and he's going to soak up some damage and become a relevant unit. Or you play him late and maybe save a game. I think it's great. Carlos, how about you? What's a blue card you're looking at? Either mono blue, heroic villainy.
Yeah, Nimble Prowess is the one that has my eye. It's the 1 cost upgrade. Attached to a friendly unit, when played, you may exhaust a unit in the attached unit's arena. It also gives +1/+1. So for the cost of an experience token, you're getting a little bit of tempo and a permanent buff, which is pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, I love that one. And Nick, how about you? What's a vigilance card you're looking at?
I mean, retaliation. That's probably like the coolest in terms of like just control-y stuff.
I knew you were
Defeat
gonna
a
say that
defeat
one.
a defeat a unit that dealt damage to a basis space. I mean, the downside is they've dealt the damage already. The upside is you can even kill leaders with it. So you got yourself something that is one cheaper than Rivals Fall already. It's the Vanquish with extra spice.
Removal is
Yeah,
always a premium in limited.
Yeah, and that's a common too, so it'll be there.
yeah, definitely. And for myself, I think I like the populist champion, the 3 cost heroic vigilance unit. I just have vanilla 3/5 with official traits. I think Republic as well. And yeah, I like my 3/5s. Playing Hantu blue. I play a lot of those in that deck, and I think it's a great stat line. It helps you develop board early. It can often trade into a turn one play and and survive. So I'm definitely a guy I'm gonna be happy to see in my packs if I'm looking to build a heroic vigilance deck. So awesome. Let's move on to command. The command aspect. Micah, I start with you once again. Yeah, what's the card you're eyeing?
Yeah, I'm looking at a command villainy card. The 6 cost Deidre Miro. We're talking about her
Mm,
leader unit, and I think her unit as well will be very good. A 5/5 ambusher, and on attack creates a spy. Ambush is always good and limited. Basically, like another type of removal, and with that ambush, you create a spy. So you also get to go wide a little bit as well.
I like it. Yeah, and I think, like you said, ambush is always good. Getting those 2-for-1s. It's a great card. Nick, how about you? Anything catching your eye?
I mean, Imperial Dark Trooper kind of caught my eye in terms of it's our Battlefield Marine, but villain finally got it just really, really late into the game. It's your classic vanilla 3/3 for 2. Just the best stat line you're gonna hope for a 2-drop.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't go wrong
It's
drafting a bunch of those.
It may not be flashy, but those staple cards are what you need sometimes, right? And for myself, I'm looking at the Misa proposed Jar Jar Binks, the 2 cost command unit that's a 2/1, and you either can play him from hand or from your row as a plot card, and it gives another unit +2/+2. So the unit himself is pretty weak. I think the buff is significant, and you can use it to trade up to push for extra damage, buff your leader on your leader flip. I don't think it's a huge exaggeration that he's going to be one of the best plot cards in limited and possibly in premier. So that's my pick. And lastly, Carlos, how about you?
I mean, we just have to mention Mina Bonteri. It's just probably one of the best turn one plays we've seen in the game. 2/4
Mm,
stat line for 2. It's command heroic, but it has restore 1, which is what we see it on Yaddle. It's a premium stat line. And it also has a when defeated, you may disclose command heroic. If you
Yeah,
do, draw a card. So it's card advantage. It stabilizes
yeah.
the board. Good stat lines. Like there's just no complaints about it.
That's just a good constructed card, I think too.
yeah. Yeah, my only concern is if how easy the disclose condition will be in
In
limited.
Yeah, in constructed, I think it's gonna be pretty easy, or premiere that is. But yeah,
Yeah, we will see.
turn
All
one,
right.
you'll definitely be able to get it still if it dies like right away.
Oh, for sure. And like, maybe she'll live for a while because your opponent doesn't want to kill her, and then you get to hold on to the cards for disclosed. So, yeah, I think it's another great card. I'm excited to see her hit the field, and that would be our picks for command. Now for aggression, I'll start us off this time, and I think for me, I really like the Enforcer Squadron uh, with in aggression villainy, a 4-cost space unit. It's a 5/3 with hidden, so it cannot be attacked the turn it was played. And personally, I think space is usually pretty light and limited. Even the constructed can be pretty light. There's decks that don't run any space unit, like my Han2 Blue, but in limited, I think space can be light. So if this thing gets dropped on curve, I might be swinging 5 to base without any other interaction in space. Like that's gonna close the game out quick. So, and it's only a common. So if you get a couple of those, I could see that being a pretty aggressive limited deck. But we'll see about that one. How about Nick? You take us out next.
Man, there's a lot of options. Another 3/3 for 2. The Warrior of Clan Ordo is pretty neat. That's definitely like a Padme. Like if you get that with the Padme in your pre-release, like boom, you have a basically every turn on attack deal 1 extra damage.
For sure.
Yeah, those 2 costs 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think you can say much else. We know from experience that's a great card. So, Carlos, how about you?
I'm gonna have to go with Hondo Arnaka. He's one of the better plot cards we've seen. He's a 6-cost aggression villainy, 6/5 stat line. Each other friendly unit gains raid 1. He has plot as well, so you just play this late game bomb, buff your board. There's just no complaints.
Mm. Yeah, no, I've already seen that a little bit in the new CAD decks, and can attest to hit me a good card. And Micah, how about you for aggression?
I think a good one is Kazuda. Again, talking about units now that also have leaders. He is a 2/6, 4-cost aggression hero card, and he's got raid 2. And then while you control fewer resources than your opponent, this unit gets +2/+0. So he can hit for 6 if you decide not to resource. So that is a big swing for a 4-cost unit.
Yeah, and I feel like even without the extra +2, he's still a pretty good return the 4/6 swing on 4 because I think we're used to like a 4/5 for 4 generally speaking. So that was one of my picks for sure. He's great. All right, and for cunning, I think we gotta start off with Carlos for sure. Who's your number one pick right now for cunning this set?
Well, I think one of the best ones is also another turn 1 play. We just gotta go with Bail Organa. He's a 2-cost, cunning heroism, 2/4. On attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, create a spy token. This one will be interesting in this set, especially in limited. We're not sure how much the plot's going to insulate your hand. Not a lot of good card draw in these colors. We'll see if the spy token's just worth the discard, but if it is, you're just getting free units.
Yeah, no, it's a great card. I've already seen it's great in constructed, and you're right. I think in limited, the amount of template you get from an extra unit is kind of insane. For my pick, I would probably take out or choose the what is the name of it? I apologize. The Trade Federation Delegates, the villainy cunning units for 5 costs. You can play a 3/4, which isn't great, but when played, you create 2 spy tokens. So I do think 3 units in 1 out of 1 card for 5 resources like can fill your board and help you, just get really ahead on that crucial flip turn if your leader's a 5 resource like a Fly More or something. I think some great synergy with her. Um, yeah, I think it's just a solid card in limited. Might not see play in constructed, but I think it's a good mid to late game card in pre-release. So Nick, how about you? What you eyeing?
Okay, so if we're not talking about limited, it's definitely Garindin because he goes into Palpatine and it's amazing. I don't know how good it's really going to be in draft. And the fact that ISB agent's back, that's kind of cool. I like that card. That aside, I'm going to go with Vizago, the 3-drop. He's a 3-cost 3/4 in neutral yellow. And he says, on attack, reveal the top card of your deck. The opponent may pay 1 resource. If they don't, you draw a card. And it's kind of you kind of win either way. You kind of screw with their curve if you have initiative, or they play out. And like either way, I feel like you're getting something, some little bit of an advantage with them. And a 3/4 stat line is still fine and should, in most situations, should be enough to survive an attack into the next round.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And of course, you had to sneak in your palp cards there. I totally get it. Micah, how about you? What's your cunning card?
Yeah, Visago's a really good pick. I like that one as well. Another cunning card that I'm looking at is the Soulless one. It is a villainy cunning card, and it's an uncommon, and it's a 3/3 stat line in space, and it's on attack. You may disclose two cunning cards and 1 villain card, and if you do, you can ready 2 resources. So again, like we talked about, resource cheating is big. 2 resources is actually a lot. It can help you play out an extra 2-drop and go wide. So I think this card in limited, into an uncontested spaceport, might actually be pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like I was saying earlier, like in limited, especially in space arena, might be neglected a little bit. So I'm curious to see if that one can do some work. All right, we'll move on to the neutral aspect cards. And Carlos, you got one in the villainy aspect?
Well, let's just go with Viper Probe Droid, you know? Everyone loved that card. Just a 3/2. Peek at the hands. Like, there's a lot of things you can do with discard in this set, knowing what they're going to play, and they have so many limited options. And worst case, it's a 3/2. And it's just a turn 1 play. It feels a lot better than some of the other ones we've seen in draft before, like 1/4s or whatever. So,
Yeah, or the 2/2s that Micah was talking about earlier.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, can't go wrong. I think my heroic card is the Covert Operative. I think Mike and I talked about this briefly in our Hantu Blue video we posted the other day. And this one's a 4-cost heroic unit with a 2/4 stat line, which isn't great. But when played, it gets to capture an enemy unit that's non-leader, of course, that costs 2 or less. So it's kind of like the Sanctioner Shuttle without the coordinate requirement, but with the lesser unit capture that it can capture. And I just think this is some great tempo. Even if it gets killed immediately, it exhausts the unit that comes back. Yeah, I think this could, help uh, really just get ahead on board early and start to snowball a little bit. And last but not least, is there anything at all, Micah, from just the spare neutral cards that you wouldn't mind seeing in your pre-release deck?
Honestly, the ASP Laborer, it's a 1/4, obviously neutral with Restore 1. So not great, only hitting back for 1, but it is basically a 2/4 kind of when you factor in the Restore. So not something that I'm reaching for, but I think, if you get this to fill out your turn 1 plays, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, like I said, it's a solid card, and the fixture's kind of funny too. I kind of like the robot looking like it's like lifting weights or something.
It's lifting like a speeder.
Yeah,
I
nice.
think I'd almost rather the shuttle, the Spectre shuttle, in the sense of like, if you're playing draft and you have like honed into what your people around you might have actually picked from, like in a high skill environment, like maybe you can actually have a good idea of like, well, I know that I passed these 2-drops to this person. You have the Inspector shuttle, and maybe you get a chance where you comes out as like, that thing comes out as a 2/4. You feel really good, I think.
Hmm.
That's a
That's a
good call.
bold one. That's a bold one, General Kenobi, but I like it.
I mean, a 1/3 in space is not great, but a 1/4 on the ground ain't great either. So.
True, true. All right, folks. That's all for episode 1 of the Blue Milk Gaming Podcast. I'm Alex Krez.
I'm Carlos. Thanks for watching.
I'm Micah.
I'm Nick. See you next time.